So obviously the big debate, and it's very interesting, is obviously around electrification. My personal view remains the fact that Indian incumbents are better placed to play this electrification game because we are the largest in two-wheelers, and you don't have the disadvantage of, not being up the software curve and stuff like that. So the four-wheelers have a different level of competitive advantages in terms of the level of automation and the software requirements and all. Surprisingly, again, the incumbents are not at the forefront in terms of driving this electrification, where we believe that probably the cost curve could fall rapidly. Is our assessment right? Because so far, when we do some breakup of the cost between an IC engine and an electrified scooter, the gap is almost about 2 times. Is there a case that in some next few years this can come down rapidly, and without subsidies we can make a case for having at least a neutrality in terms of cost of ownership?
Yeah, so there are 2 questions over there, Nirav. One is you asked about the incumbents, and we are an incumbent, and in fact, we were probably almost the first off the block. If you look at it volumetrically, I agree with you that volumetrically it may appear that incumbents have fallen behind. I cannot speak for the others, but I can certainly talk about what our position is over here. Our position over here is that we are looking at it as a very long-term play. We think that electrification is here to stay, with subsidy, without subsidy. The cell costs are going up and down because of demand-supply imbalance and all that. So there are a lot of uncertainties. But fundamentally, in the mind of the customer, there is a switch which has taken place, particularly in India, when the petrol prices crossed 100 rupees. If you see the kind of people who are buying the electric scooters, they range from the very affluent in posh areas to the very humble tradespeople who are using it for going every day, a plumber or a gardener or whoever. The full spectrum. Now, that's quite tremendous for a new category to come and get a traction across the entire segment. So that is telling us that the customer has said that I want freedom from this whole thing of being a prisoner of the petrol prices going up and down. I can't take my monthly budget. I'll have certainty with electric, one time high cost, I'll pay, maybe I'll get a loan, and then there is freedom. That switch has taken place. And fundamentally, that is what is going to drive the industry. Rest of the stuff will either be barriers for some time or will be accelerators, in terms of whether the charging infrastructure is there, whether the cell costs are coming down, the uncertainty around the subsidy. Those are secondary issues, but primarily the customer is wanting. So our assessment is electrification is here to stay, and it will progress. It may accelerate based on subsidies or cell costs, or it may progress more slowly. So as Bajaj Auto, we better, if we want to retain our position, and in fact, we see this as a great opportunity to advance our position, not just in an India level, but at a global level. Because now we look at our business, with half of it coming from overseas, as a global play. And there are vast segments geographically and product-wise, like scooters, where Bajaj Auto has not been there. ASEAN, where we are highly under-penetrated because it's mostly scooters and mopeds and step-throughs. These are opening up for us. In India, this is opening up for us. The scooter segment is opening up for us. So we see this as a very big opportunity. However, having said that, we feel that in the early phase, we have to invest in R&D. Today, the thing which has really worked in our favor, when we have gone and made a global play for motorcycles, is the fact that we have a strong in-house R&D, right? So there is a lot of investment in R&D. There's a lot of investment in manufacturing. There's a lot of investment in supply chain. There's an investment in exclusive dealer network. All that is not reflected on the volume front as yet, but it is preparing us for the marathon. We don't think it is a sprint. So we are not getting distracted by the fact that, we must sell 20,000 units. We are saying that, okay, how much? And I must confess here that always plans don't go as the way you want them to. So we had supply chain glitches in the first half. A lot of the last year was lost in supply chain glitches where we are trying to, get our supply chain right, get our cost right, get certainty right. But for sure, if you look at other metrics besides volume as to the number of people involved in the industry, which, of course, this is information which is not publicly available. I agree with that. I can only indicate to you about this. There, if you examine those kind of investments, I think it will tell you that the incumbents and certainly Bajaj Auto are very much over there, and you will see, and already you will see, if the subsidy is changing now, already the wheat will separate from the chaff. The milk and the water will start to separate. And then the stronger companies, whether they are incumbents or new companies, companies which are strong on a sustainable basis, you will see their rise. And we hope to be ahead of the pack over a medium term. That certainly, we don't want to have a Kodak moment at all, where we are found, oh my God, this electric thing has just passed us by and we were sleeping on our watch. How will we answer to our juniors who take over the leadership from us in a few years' time? We are all very, very conscious of that. But there is a responsibility which we owe to our vendors. I mean, we can't ask them to invest crores of rupees. We are setting up an exclusive distribution network. We have to ensure our dealers are break even. So we have to do this in a calibrated way. We don't have private equity dollars to throw. And even if we had that, we would be very, very circumspect about asking this whole ecosystem of people who we carry with us, which is the vendors and the dealers. They have to be successful too, because we are only as strong as them. So this is always a factor in our mind, and that is why we are taking a more calibrated approach. And as we move forward, things will start to settle. We can already see the subsidy regime is now getting into some kind of a, the ambiguity is getting over and certainty is appearing. So that is what our approach is.